guess we're calling it vlog number 2. And today I have a longtime client, OG member Gary Churchill, and a good friend of mine and a guy that I look up to in the business world, and very successful in my eyes. And I like being surrounded by successful people. So I like when Gary comes to class and get to hang out with him. Gary, just want to hand it over to you. Just tell us, how you found CrossFit, what you were doing before.
Right.
I know when you first walked in the gym, you said you wanted to be like Rich Froning, and you just said, sign me up.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the easiest sell I think I ever made.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So, I'd seen CrossFit on TV, and I thought it looked like a ton of fun. And, just something to give a little purpose to your workout instead of just going in and, doing chest and back and buys and tries. You were actually trying to accomplish something and have a little fun with it. So I'd seen it on TV, and then I saw your banner when I was driving down the road, and so stopped in, and I think Matt Link was actually in working out that day, and I just said, hey, how you doing? I saw this on TV. I want to look like the guys on TV. And he started laughing. He said, that takes an incredible amount of work. And I said, well, if I'm going to be in here anyway.
Yeah.
And he kind of laughed at it, and now I know just how silly that statement was. But it was, so I came into a Saturday class, and you got done with the Saturday class, and I was instantly hooked, just with, how much fun it was to participate, but also, the coaching and the community, and just the neat stuff that we were doing in the gym. And I went up to you immediately after class, and I said, well, that was good. He said, maybe come back next Saturday. I said, well, no, just sign me up. At that point, he's like, well, the waivers are around here somewhere. And I think this is how I take your credit card. And so I'm like, well, here you go. I'm in, man. We're going. And that was a good day. It was, ever since then, just kind of been coming to the class regularly and gotten the groove and really enjoyed myself. So, I'm more fit than I've ever been. I haven't reached all my goals yet, but that's the key word, yet, not can't. Yeah. And, I know we don't like to say can't around here, but, so I haven't reached all my goals yet, but I'm still going to work on it. And it's really been a positive thing for me to be involved with. It's CrossFit, but it's really the community that you've built here. And I'm sure everyone has that story at their gym, right? Whether it's this gym or another, but, it's the folks here. Yeah. But anyway, Brandon told me when I was coming in that, he wanted to, us to talk to some more regular members, right? Somebody that people could relate to. So I'm waiting for like Brittany and Jeff to come in, so like some, A-class athletes can interview some more regular folks. Yeah, it's just me, right?
We'll get Brittany on here on Friday night.
All right. So now I realize that I am the relatable member.
You are. And I think that is, how many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids. Yep. 2
kids and their age?
Bella is 13 and Abel's 11.
Yep.
And they get all the activities that go with being 13 and 11-year-old kids. So finding the time to get in is sometimes a challenge. But it's something that the entire family has really supported. They've kind of carved out that hour, for me. And I've really been appreciative of my wife who, she goes, you need that. It's good for you. It's part of a healthy lifestyle. You're not nearly as grumpy when you get home if you've gone to the gym first and kind of gotten some of that out of you. Endorphins are a good thing. Plus, you look better with your shirt off.
Yeah.
So all that pays off, and the kids have been supportive too. They understand that, hey, Dad needs that time for him, but when he's home, he's focused on us too. Yeah. So it's been a good thing for everybody.
And you're setting a role. You're being a great role model for them too.
Yeah. The kids have come in. They've done the kids CrossFit before.
Yeah.
They like it, but they think it's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So on top of that, you have a family. So what do you do for your job?
I'm an aviation insurance underwriter. I work for a company that insures aircraft. If somebody buys an airplane, they need insurance just like you would need car insurance, and that's what my company does. So, we insure everything from a little 4-seat piston aircraft all the way up to an airliner, and we have underwriters that are experts in all of it, and they're all around the country, and we handle the claims. So it's been a very good career for me. You know, I liked being around airplanes my whole life, and this was a good way to stay engaged with that. And you know, actually, I am a pilot and know how to fly, and so then I had to learn the insurance piece and figure that out, and have made it a really good career for myself, and I have enjoyed it. It's afforded me to do things, you know, like travel around the country and even around the world. You know, I just got back from Japan, and you know, growing up on a little small farm in Michigan and going to a high school with, you know, 75 kids in my class, I never really imagined that, you know, I would be, you know, on a plane to Japan to attend a conference, or you know, going to Austin to participate in a conference, and maybe even at some of these conferences being a speaker. You know, I've had an opportunity to do some of that, so it's been a good thing. Something I probably never thought I would do. You know, so it's been a nice career.
That's cool. I know couple of things I've always loved hearing, like your stories, like coming up, was just how like you enjoy hard work, like you enjoy challenge, and like coming through. You started off like at the very bottom of that company. And now you're one of the top guys.
Yeah. And it was I think, you know, started in '99. I was probably the very lowest paid underwriter at a company, and kind of worked my way through the ranks, and just stuck with it. You know, you gotta have a bit of a process, and realize what brings you success, and then replicate that. So I tried to find good mentors, you know, folks that I could talk to about the business and learn from them, because they'd been there, right? The other thing that I knew was a trait of mine that maybe my coworkers or even people at competitors didn't have to the same extent was I was just very focused on the grind of it, and it never bothered me. And I was like, that's something I have that maybe others don't. I appreciate this every day, coming in, you know, and just grinding away. You know, I'm going to quote 2 more than he did, or I'm going to quote 3 more than she did, right? And I'm going to make 1 more phone call than that guy does. And it's just, anybody can do that for 1 day, but to do it for 18, 19, 20 years of a career, to say I'm going to make 1 more phone call than everybody else in the building, that takes some mental strength, right? And so, that's kind of been the game plan, and that's how I approach a lot of things. You know, just find out what you have that maybe someone else doesn't. You know, if you're playing a game of basketball and you know you're better at shooting a 3-pointer than somebody else, well, you maximize that strength in your game plan, right? So it can't be all you do, but you maximize that strength, right?
That sounds a lot like CrossFit.
A little bit, yeah, right, yeah.
And I think that's one thing. Whenever you work out, I think that's why you enjoy it so much, and enjoy challenging younger guys in the gym.
Yeah,
you know what you're strong at, and you know what they're weak at. So it's kind of, you're playing this chess match back and forth, back and forth. I know, like yesterday's workout, I had Chance next to me, and he's really good at those movements. But I mean, if I give that movement and get started before he got there, I'm gonna play with his head a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's the same way that we deal with all these things.
Yeah,
in business and life and everything else.
Yeah, that's right. So you know, you kind of you kind of find a groove, and you know, you maximize your strengths and your advantages, and you work on your weaknesses too. That's you know, that's obvious. But now here in the gym, I like to kind of like to circle things where I know I'm going to really put my head down and go for it, and I'll try to be next to Jeff, who's you know, a bit of a comparable level, but is right now better than I am, right? So you know, I'll look to Jeff and kind of see what he's doing, and kind of
big head.
Yeah, kind of go after him and see if I can push Jeff a little bit. So you know, you do these things in life, and you keep yourself interested, and it's fun that way.
Good. Well, Gary brought in 8, what do we call these?
Primers, talking primers.
8 talking primers. So I'm going to choose a couple of these, and he said he had some really good stories with some of them.
Yeah, I hope you pick the ones that I have the good stories behind.
Yeah. But there was one in here that I wanted to hear about that you didn't say was going to be a good story. But
okay.
Number 6 was care if someone passes you.
Okay, there actually is a bit of a story behind that. When I was really young, I watched the Olympics, you know, much like watching the CrossFit Games and deciding that, hey, that inspired me and I wanted to try that. When I was a kid, I watched the Olympics and I was obsessed with it, you know, and, you know, kept bugging my parents, hey, I want to be in the Olympics, I want to be in the Olympics, I want to be in the Olympics. And they said, well, you can want to do something or you can start doing something. And I said, okay, well, what sport? They said, well, running shoes are about the cheapest thing you can do. So we'll buy you a pair of running shoes, and every day you can run. And if you want to try something, then running translates into other sports, and it'll be good for you, right? And so, then I started signing up for local races, 5K or 10K here and there. And I did a ton of these. This was like starting at age 8. I was a little kid running down the road all by myself out in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, with my brand new Nikes. And
in the snow.
Yeah, in the snow with my in the snow with my Team USA hat on, and just dreaming about being in the Olympics someday. And so I would enter these 10Ks, and then all of a sudden, probably 12, 13, 14, I stopped doing it. And I had a friend that said, well, why'd you stop doing that? You used to run these 10Ks every weekend, and you'd always come in and tell us how you did, and you kind of had some passion for it. I said, I stopped caring that people passed me. And that was a hard thing to admit, but that's why I kind of stopped joining the races. I stopped buying the $25 t-shirt and, getting an orange slice at the finish line just to say I did it, because I stopped caring that someone passed me. And that really was a bit of a turning point in my life.
Yeah.
Care if someone passes you. Have that care, whether it's at work or anything you do. Care if someone passes you. So that's my story behind that. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to go totally different. I thought it was going to be like walking down the street, don't let somebody pass you without saying hello.
Yeah.
Because you're such a nice guy.
Well, probably that too. That is a good one.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that one a lot.
Yeah.
So here's one that you said, I want to know this one. Wish in one hand and crap in the other, and see which gets full first.
Yeah. Well, actually, that one comes from my dad. And you can wish for something, or you can work for something, right? And so you can wish in this hand, and you can crap in this hand and see which gets full first. So if you want to get something, you got to work for it. And I mean, that I've been trying to get a ring muscle up for 4.5 years now, and haven't gotten one. And it's that number 8 there, wish in one hand. I've been wishing to do a ring muscle up, but I haven't been working to do a ring muscle up.
Yeah.
So, that's something that another little reflection that I've had that said, hey, my dad used to say this, you can wish in this hand and crap in this hand and see which gets full first. And guaranteed, the hand with the crap in it's going to be pretty full before your wish hand gets full. So stop wishing for stuff, make it happen. That's why I wrote that one down. I like that one.
I like that one a lot too. That was really
He's got
good.
a couple other sayings, but I think this is PG. So
Yeah. What did you used to do to get where you are?
All right, I like this one, and in business or in life, I'll be meeting with folks that own companies, and they'll say, ask them how their business is going. They'll say, well, hey, it hasn't been so good, or it's been tough, or we're kind of dying on the vine. Is something that I would hear, especially through that, the economic downturn. Folks were struggling, right? And so, in talking to them, I'd say, well, what did you do to get where you were? What'd you do to build your business over the years? And they talk about I used to attend trade shows, and I used to send out mailers, and I used to work my referral network, and I used to train my staff and have weekly meetings, and it's like, that's all stuff you used to do, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you start doing the stuff you used to do to get where you are, and writing down what you need to do to get where you want to be. But same thing here in CrossFit. If you hit a plateau, well, what did you do to get to where you're now plateaued? Did you do ROMWOD? Did you eat right? Did you get enough sleep, right? And these are all things that I've stopped doing. So, I was probably in my best shape in November, December this year. I really was hitting a lot of PRs and feeling great and coming in, bouncing off the walls around here, and, running fast and lifting heavy and breathing hard and all the things you talk about doing, and stretching and getting to bed on time. And then the holidays hit, and then, there's parties and there's fun, and then you get to bed a little late. You're not getting up on time.
You're missing those meals.
Yeah,
so you pick up something quick.
Yeah, you're picking up something quick. You're picking up something that's not good for you, or you're running out the door and getting a power bar instead of making the nice smoothie that you were making, or having something that's reasonable for lunch, or instead you're grabbing a burger or something like that. So yeah, that's been the quite honestly, that is the hardest part of the diet. But what you used to do to get to where you were when you were happy with what was going on in your CrossFit journey, or whatever journey you're taking, when you PR'd your Fran time, what'd you do to get that?
Yeah.
Well, I just listed a whole bunch of stuff, and I guarantee my Fran time isn't what it was in November. Because I came in yesterday and I was sucking wind pretty hard.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's see.
Just near the bar was what was
Just
happening.
near the bar.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is another good question on here? We know what it takes to succeed. Have we written it down, and have we started? I think I know where you're going to go with this, because I talked to a lot of people about this.
Well, you actually had us do this one time. You had us write down something that we wanted to improve and put it in a sealed envelope and tape it to the wall, And I remember, when that was taped to the wall, I thought about it every single day. And it was a private thing that was in there, but, I thought about it every day. And I'm like, you got to write it down. Have you started working on it? And I just liked that when we wrote that down and did that one time. That was kind of neat. I always wanted to ask you if you looked in the envelopes.
No, I did not.
Okay.
That was y'all's thing. I didn't want to. I told everybody I wanted to be personal. It was tempting.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It was very tempting.
Yeah.
But I did not look in the envelopes.
Okay.
That was good.
But I like that, and that's something that I thought would be if write down what it takes, because you know what it takes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and do it. And write down some goals too. I have a couple goals written down that I carry around on my phone. I look at them every once in a while, and if you want to have a back squat that's at a certain number, but you're not doing any back squats, well, you're not going to get there, right? So I kind of look at that from time to time. But
right.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And we'll do one more.
Yep.
Which one do you think, 1 or 3?
I would go with 1.
All right, number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
For the last one is no excuses versus good excuses.
Yeah. So I read a book called No Excuses, and it talks about,